Put down your baby and pick up a beer. This is Dad Jokes, the podcast of two first-time dads going through the journey with all of you at home. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon. And Brandon, we got an exciting episode today. This is episode 20, and we're kind of starting something here. With every 10 episodes, we're doing a top 10. So we have one of those today.
I'm excited, Jerry. This was one of my favorite episodes, listening back to the previous 19 that we've had, and I can't wait to get started.
So fun fact, I look at a lot of analytics, as you know, and I'm a big fan of stats. And actually, our 10th episode, our top 10 episode, other than our very first episode, is the most listened to episode that we have out so far. So I'm hoping that this one maybe can rival it, as we're going to do another top 10 of sorts. But before we get into that, as always, I got a dad joke for you, Brandon. You ready for it?
Yes, sir. Waiting with bated breath. Should I bring that into the new year?
Maybe we need a new one for the new year. That's another thing let's talk about really quickly, Brandon. It's 2022. It's the new year today. And new year, same old problems, though, as we'll get into as far as babies go. But first, this joke. How do you know when someone can't handle their beer?
Oh. They're too hoppy.
When they bring a coaster. So, Brandon, I'm going to show you something as I get that one. This is a gift I got for Christmas. I'm going to hold it up. It is a stack of dad beer jokes. So that was one of the ones from there. I thought it was kind of funny. Most of them are just sayings.
You're getting so much help right now.
I honestly think I do better sometimes without the help, but I thought that one was funny. I opened it up about 10 minutes ago, found one I thought was clever. So that's what I got. But what's going on with you, Brandon? You sound a little bit tired. What's going on in the Banks household?
Man, I sound a little tired. Are you allowed to say that to people? That just sounds mean. I sound a little bit tired.
I've said a lot worse to you.
You have said way worse to me. I am a little tired. Right now, the Banks household is going through a cold. For a second, we thought it was the dreaded C word, but we've had multiple tests. I'm not talking about cold, it's the C word. And everything is everything's A-okay from that perspective. But Bryce is having a little bit of a cold right now. Mom has a little bit of a cold, and I think I'm starting to get the remnants of it. But that's definitely, he's congested, and it's affecting his ability to be comfortable and sleep. But overall, this last week we had Christmas, which was great. My dad actually, I know we got into a little bit of Christmas gifts from Kelsey's side last week. So a quick story for you. Growing up, I was pretty musical. I played a saxophone and have been known to hold a tune. Being able to sing a little bit. I don't know why I said it like that. But in my sophomore and junior year in high school, I competed in the regional NAACP talent show here, and ended up getting first place, which put me on the national talent show. But the award or reward for winning was a $500 savings bond, which for me, when I was 13, 14, in that range, I could care less about $500 that I could get in 7 years. I wanted my money now. So my dad told me that he basically would just cash me out. I wasn't going to get the $500. I got like call it $200. I can't remember what it was. But he gave me like the immediate satisfaction of the money. He took the savings bond. I completely forgot about those savings bonds. And at the time, he told my mom, when Brandon has his first kid, I'm going to give him these savings bonds. I didn't know that. So I buried the lead there, I guess, or exposed it. So Bryce, for first Christmas, as a part of a few other Christmas gifts, he got $1,000 worth of savings bonds that my dad has been keeping for the past almost 15 years now. So
I thought that
bad. Yeah, he had the best Christmas of us all.
And now you're going to make Bryce wait 18 years to spend that $1,000, though, right?
There's probably a little bit we're going to do with that. I don't know. I think I can get a little bit better return than what the savings bonds got. So Bryce definitely has an account.
I don't know about that, Brandon. I've invested with you before, and we've not always had the best returns. So
you win some, you lose some. But
that is true.
In the case of his money, I'm not gonna put it in some of those riskier investments that you and I have tried over the past couple of years. But I mean, he had a great Christmas. He got he got a lot of love, which was really good to see. And he turned 4 months old since the last time we talked. So it was a pretty eventful week.
That sounds like a great week, a busy week, which they all seem to be these days.
Yeah.
We had obviously a busy week too with Christmas. We had a great Christmas. Had to go see 3 families. Very busy. Peyton, just like Bryce, was spoiled. A lot of great gifts. One thing that was funny is we did Christmas Eve at my in-laws, and Peyton got a lot of gifts. That's my in-laws' first grandchild, so I know they wanted to spoil her a little bit. And we're opening gifts, and me and Macy are obviously opening for her because she's only a few weeks old. And we get home, and I look at Macy. I'm like, how many books did your mom buy Peyton? And she said, she's like, I don't know, probably maybe 10 or so. And I'm like, I think it's more than that. So we counted 19 books from my mother-in-law, 19, which we love books, and I'm all for it. It was just funny. So we have already a bookshelf full of books, and we added even more to it. So now we have to take off Christmas books just to make room for the other ones. Put those away in the seasonal decorations. But we had a great Christmas. And then this last week, though, Brandon, it's been an interesting week. Peyton normally sometimes is fussy at night, will cry. We've had some issues. But during the day, typically, she's sleeping or happy and awake. But this last week, she has been awake and very fussy and cranky during the entire day, almost every single day. And
Sounds like her dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then at night, though, she's been pretty good. So it's just been, I don't know if it's the reverse cycling some people talk about or some different things. There's actually a baby fact I'm going to go into here in a second. But actually last night was interesting. We were up late because it was New Year's Eve, and we were watching a game that I won't mention. But we went to bed around a little after midnight. And then this morning I woke up to my wife shaking me. And she goes, look. And she shows me her phone. And I'm like, what? And she's like, she hasn't gotten up. I'm like, what do you mean? It was 6:30. She had slept till 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And none of us got up with her. So she had her longest night's sleep ever, which was great. And then today, she's actually been in a pretty good mood all day. So we'll see if we're out of that cranky stage. But the baby fact I want to bring up, Brandon, that some people might not know about, that I found out because obviously we were dealing with a very cranky baby this week. I did a lot of research and Googling, is that often parents will hear the dreaded word called colic. And there's a lot of research out there about colic, and quite frankly, no one really knows exactly what causes it or exactly what percentage of babies have it or don't. Some people say up to 50% of babies have colic to some degree. But what I learned is that most often if a baby is diagnosed as colicky, it lasts up until about 4 months, but the time frame that they're the most colicky is typically between 4 to 6 weeks. Which I did not know, and is also what Peyton is. She will be 6 weeks on Monday, 2 days from now. So that would make sense that week 5 of her life, she was really fussy. If she is indeed colicky, which she has not been prescribed as that, although the doctor did mention that it's a possibility at our last doctor's appointment. So something that if you're at home with a newborn or having one, keep in mind between 4 to 6 weeks, you could be in for a rough patch. I learned that the hard way this week.
Yeah, and I remember that time frame. I don't know if I would qualify Bryce as colicky, but there's definitely a stretch where it was just it felt like crying that you had no rhyme or reason, and you didn't know when the end was going to come. And I'm saying that, and it might be a 10-15 minute stretch of straight crying, but when you're in the middle of it, it feels like it's lasting forever. So I would say, luckily, I don't know that it ever got to that point for us. I cannot imagine, because the fits that he has had in his short little life, if they could possibly be worse than that, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating as a parent. Typically, just so you know, colic they describe as crying for 3 hours or more in a given period of time consistently and within a day. So it's not usually, I know, Brandon, you mentioned basically a 15-minute stretch. That's typically not what they will say. Like I said, it's long periods. Typically they say 3 hours So
Nah,
you're
we
talking.
never had 3 hours at one time. We might have had 45 minutes where we wanted to, and we can calm him down, and he might be calm for 15, 20 minutes, and then he'll get started back up again. But
Yeah.
not 3 hours straight. That would drive me absolutely insane.
Yeah, and we, I don't know if we had 3 hours straight ever of just, but we did have long periods of stretches where she would cry, and she just ate, she had had her diaper changed, she wasn't cold or anything like that. So, but again, is she just being a baby, being fussy, or is it something worse? We'll keep an eye on it, but it's definitely something as a parent to keep your finger on and see what you can do. The negative side of it is there's not that much you can do about it, but all babies do eventually grow out of it, and you just kind of got to keep your sanity while you can. So
yeah, that's something that I do not envy those who have to go through that. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, which it sounds like you're hopefully getting to that point. For me this week, the baby fact that jumped out at me, when you get a lot of like first few month baby toys, they're black and white and have like the high contrast, and the reason is because for the first 4 months of a baby's life they can really only see shades of gray, and then after you kind of hit that 4 month phase, which Bryce is just hit, they start to recognize colors and things like that. So that's something that really jumped out at me personally. I don't know if the 4 month ever hit me in my research. I always thought it was for the first couple months of a baby's life, but it actually extends all the way out to 4 from everything we saw. So he's gonna finally be able to start seeing me for my true self, Jerry.
I was wondering if you're gonna work that in there somehow. So I was wondering how you're gonna do it. I like it. No, it's cool. I did not know that. So that's definitely interesting. And one thing. Another segment I want to touch on before we get into our main topic today of the top 10 is baby gear. Like we've been saying, we've been trying to mention different pieces of baby gear or updates on baby gear that we have to all of you out there. And one thing that I haven't mentioned in any of the podcasts yet, even though we've had it since Peyton's birth, and I'm a big fan of it, is, well, actually, you know what? I'll tell you a little story first. I don't know anyone that knows, or anyone that has a baby obviously knows, that babies' fingernails can be little razor blades, and they can not only scratch themselves and leave marks, but they can scratch mom or dad. And babies like to grab things.
And they grow quick.
Correct. And so what people have done for years and years and years is they've used nail clippers, and it can be very scary because babies have tiny fingers and they like to clench their fists and move their hands around. You don't want to cut one of their fingers off. Some moms will even bite their fingernails, which I'm not doing that. But what they have now and what we have is nail trimmer Dremels. Little Dremels that you can buy. They're not expensive, $15, $20. They have little files on the end. They spin, and then you can basically trim their nails, almost like dog's nails. And I'll tell you, Brandon, I've done it 10, 15 times. I'm usually the one who does it. Peyton does not mind in the least, does not bother her. She's happy the whole time I'm doing it, and it works great. And then I don't get those little razor blades clawing at Dad's chest or face.
Oh, and they not only those razor blades claw, they if they're having a fit, they're swinging too. And Bryce has a really good right hook that I found. We have one of those in our household, and it's actually gotten to the point where it wouldn't be uncommon for an adult in the household to hit their nails a couple times. That thing works with adult nails as well, apparently.
That's funny. I'll tell you, when we first got it, I was like, but invest in one. If you don't have one or haven't seen them, look them up. Again, they're like $15 on Amazon. I don't even know the name.
They work.
Yeah, I don't even know the name of the brand that we use, but they work great, easy to use, and I don't know how Bryce is, but Peyton could care less when I'm doing it. Does not bother her in the least.
No, he's all about. Well, I don't want to say all about it, but he is indifferent about it when it ultimately gets done, and their nails grow really quickly. So you have to do something.
Well, you got a piece of baby gear for us, Brandon?
Oh my goodness, this my favorite thing happened to me. So for Christmas this year, what I asked for is basically, if somebody's gonna give me something, just get something for Bryce. And Kelsey knocked it out of the park.
Oh.
My number one thing, and I kind of forgot about this. I mentioned it a couple of times, but the number one thing that I'm excited about This may or may not come up later in one of our top fives. But growing up, my favorite kid's toy when I was a kid for the longest time, even as like probably played with this older than I should have, was a Little Tykes basketball hoop. I've mentioned this before on a podcast. And so Christmas was over. It was like the day after Christmas, and there was one of my quote unquote gifts that was running late, and I come home from work and sitting on the porch is a Little Tykes basketball hoop with the adjustable basketball hoop with the balls, and that's my number one piece of. I'm gonna call it gear for this episode because I cannot wait to go downstairs, have the hoop set up, and play with Bryce the blocking game that me and my brother played as growing up as kids, where you just have to try to dunk on the other person, and I'm not gonna let them score.
I love it.
Blocking every shot.
I love it. Just don't tear that ACL again.
I'll probably be on my knees to try to block the shot. I'm a little bit bigger than the hoop, Jerry.
Just a little bit. I like it. That is pretty cool. And it is exciting. I think we might get into that in our meat and potatoes, if you will, of the episode, which we'll get into now. So, Brandon, on our 10th episode, we did a top 10 of sorts. Basically, it was 2 different top 5s, and then we had a bonus top 5 at the end. We're going to do kind of the same thing today. And our first top 5, so my top 5 and your top 5 make 10. That's how we get our top 10. But our top 5 is going to be top 5 places we can't wait to take our kids. Now, little bit of a disclaimer, we're talking in the semi-near future, so not when they're 17, 18, 16 years old, but, generally relatively soon. So where can we not wait to take them for the first time? So that is what we're going to start with. I'll let you do the honors, Brandon. What's on your list, number 1? Maybe not number 1, but on your list.
What's on? I got 6.
Cheater.
I cheat every time.
You cheat
but
every time.
The first one, you're gonna get mad that I even say this, but this doesn't count. I feel like we both want it. I just want to take them outside in the world where no pandemic is happening right now.
Yes,
that
amen.
is my number 1. But I'm not gonna count that. So, number 1 for me is Louisiana, which is where he's met a lot of. My mom's side of the family, but my dad grew up in Louisiana. We have an entire side of the family down there who has seen him through pictures and FaceTime, things like that. But I want to take him to meet his family, show him where his grandpa grew up. That's definitely number 1. So Bossier City, Shreveport, Louisiana. Introduce him to some really good food. When he's able to eat it, it doesn't get much better than that. Show him a little family heritage.
I might have to go down there with Bryce because I've never been to Louisiana and I definitely want to go. So that's a good number 1.
Down there, Jerry.
That's my kind of food too. So
yeah.
It sounds amazing. My number 1 is kind of my happy place, although it's funny saying it today after what happened last night, Brandon. But I cannot wait to take Peyton to her first Michigan football game at the Big House. My family had season tickets growing up. My grandparents, my aunt. I went to school there. My wife did. We had season tickets for 3 seasons, and I absolutely love going to Michigan football games. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world. She's going to grow up a big Michigan fan, although they did get their butts whooped by Georgia yesterday. That's okay. I can't wait to take her there.
Okay.
It's not, but we're not going to go there. But I'm just excited for her to see it. And you know what? Kids actually really like it because we do the tailgating. You get to see the band. It's exciting. So I can't wait to do that. She'll probably be, a little bit older, obviously, but that is something that will be a very special moment. So that's number 1 on my list, Brandon.
And those are those events that you just look forward to as a kid, as someone who did it as well. It's, when you get out of school Friday night, when you wake up the next morning, you're probably going to be smelling bacon cooking in the house. You wake up, you guys all pile in super early to make it down so you can tailgate right across the street from the stadium. You see everybody having fun. And I mean, those are just like the memories that really develop a childhood. Yep. So that actually, you mentioned the Wolverines. I wholeheartedly agree with you. For me, the sporting events that I'm excited to take Bryce are Pistons games. I had season tickets to the Pistons for 3 years, especially when they lived right up the road from where I was living at the time. It was great. But I am a a huge Pistons fan, for better or for worse.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it's something that I just can't wait to take him to his first game, so he can experience everything that I experienced growing up. And his uncle Jay helped with that because he got him some custom Pistons gear that just got delivered a couple days ago, and an Isaiah Thomas jersey. So
that's funny.
We're excited.
That is awesome. And it's funny, we don't share these lists ahead of time, but I would have been absolutely shocked if that wasn't on your list. So I'm glad that I guessed that one.
You knew that was going to be on the list.
Number 2 on my list is a place I can't wait to take them. It's kind of unique, but on a boat ride. We live in Michigan, and obviously there's lakes everywhere. My dad lives on a lake. One of my sister lives next to a lake. My grandparents live on a lake. And I love being on the lake. I love fishing. I love tubing. I love just being, floating, drinking, whatever, on a boat. So I can't wait until we go on a boat. That'll probably be this summer, probably at her grandpa's house, and just chill on a boat. Because in Michigan, there's little better than chilling on a boat in the summertime, Brandon.
Nothing really beats that, actually. And for us, maybe cracking a beer or two, having a good time.
She can crack a bottle or two.
Yeah, exactly. The third one for me is related to the holiday that we just passed, but for my extended family, Christmas Eve was something that was just it's huge. I have a really big family, 8 kids on my mom's side, 12 kids on my dad's side. But my mom's side, we get together every year at Christmas, and just growing up, being able to play around with all your cousins, it was one of those days you look forward to every single year. So I'm cheating a little bit, but I wanted to have something that I knew was going to happen within the next couple of years, in theory. And getting together at our aunt's house, playing with all his extended cousins. I mean, you're talking hundreds of people that are all related to you. That's just something that I'm really excited for him to see.
That'd be pretty awesome. Number 3 on my list is something we'll also probably knock out this summer, and that is going to the zoo. I love the zoo, always have, even as an adult, and
I
kids
should have
love
put this
the zoo.
on my list.
Yeah, the zoo's awesome because the great thing about the zoo is, one, kids love it, and the thing is, no matter how many times you go, it's different because the animals sometimes are being lazy, you can't see them, sometimes they're doing different things. You don't always see every single section of the zoo when you go. We usually go to the Detroit Zoo. There's actually a zoo in Grand Rapids that we've gone to a couple times that I'm a fan of as well. But the zoo is great. I almost thought about buying a season pass for this coming year, but I don't know that we'll go enough times when she's, not even 1. But in the future, I know for a fact we'll have a season pass to a zoo because I love going to the zoo. It's a great place to be. Kids have fun. Whether you make a day of it or a few hours, it's a good way to spend a weekend.
That's gonna supersede one of the ones on my list. I think I'm gonna have to steal that from you, but I'm not gonna use it. We just will know that I might have to go in with you on a season pass. That might be in a Lusky and Banks.
I like it. We'll get one of those wagons, drag them around.
Hey, speaking of baby gear, I just saw one of those the other day.
They're awesome. They're not cheap, but they are awesome.
No, they weren't. It was like $800.
Yeah.
Looking forward just a little bit. Orlando is my next one, and it's because I didn't just want to put. And I mean, we're pushing probably 5 or 6. At that point, but I didn't want to just put Disney World. I know that's really fun for a lot of kids, but Universal Studios, and it's a water park called Wet n Wild, where we used to go every year when I was growing up, and those were the most fun trips I can remember as a kid. It's just something I can't quite describe it about that city, but from perspective of a kid, if you're spending a week down there and you're getting to go to Disney World, Universal Studios, some water parks, those are the vacations that I remember most growing up. So definitely the city of Orlando.
It's funny you said that because number 4 on my list is Universal Studios. Brandon, kid you not. I almost made it number 3, but I was going to say a lot of people say Disney, and I'm excited about Disney because I'm sure we'll go. But I said Universal. And the reason I did is probably a little bit different than you, but it's specifically I can't wait to take them to Harry Potter World. One, I've never been, and I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter nerd. But 2, I plan on reading the series to my kids when they get old enough. And my dad read it to us growing up, so it's something I want to do with them. and I can't wait to read it with them and then go down there and go all out, get the robes, the wands, the butterbeer, all that good stuff. And so I think that'll be just fun. And again, Disney, Orlando, all of it too. It's great. I had a lot of trips in Orlando growing up that were some of the best ones, but I think specifically going to some place like Harry Potter World will be just, I will probably be more excited than them, to be honest with you.
Hey, shout out to your dad, because I'm assuming almost everyone has read Harry Potter at this point. Those aren't thin books that he's reading to you guys.
No, he did it growing up, and he did different voices, Brandon. And I know me and you listen to some audiobooks, and we give a lot of credit to some people. He was pretty darn good at it. We weren't always great at getting the names right before the movies came out, but the voices were fantastic. So I can't wait for Harry Potter World. I honestly want Peyton to be probably 5 or 6 or 7 now, just so I can go down there.
I can't wait for you to start reading to her so I can hear these impressions of the characters.
Yes, it's going to be horribly amazing.
Perfect.
What's the last one on your list, Brandon?
Last one on my list has a lot to do with Bryce's name, and this one is probably the furthest one out from now when we're going to go. But Bryce National Canyon is a state park in Utah. Bryce is like the name Bryce comes from a few different things, but one of them is Bryce National Canyon in Utah, and that coincides with the tattoo idea that I have for myself, a few other things, and when we decided to name him that, one thing that we said is that we're going to go to Utah. Probably the only reason I ever will have to go to Utah, but I can't wait to take him out there, and maybe at that point I'll have a pretty cool truck with some off-road capabilities, and we might check Moab out while we're out there too.
There you go. Well, you might hope that my brother-in-law Mike, that doesn't listen to this episode, because he's a national park geek, and he'll probably try to tag along with you, because they are all about it. They're going to California to a couple national parks this summer, so he's already been telling me all about them. So
Yellowstone is on the list as well.
Yeah.
So Bryce has to be there for obvious reasons.
The last one on my list is not a specific place, but kind of also an event. I can't wait to take Peyton to her first baseball game. Anyone who knows me knows I love baseball. I actually worked for a minor league baseball team for a number of years. I just, football is my favorite sport, Brandon, but going to a ballpark, there's nothing like it. I love the different ballparks. I love the food. I love the atmosphere. And it seems like the one that kids enjoy the most too.
Yeah.
And so
summertime.
Whether it's a Tigers game, a Whitecaps game, a Great Lakes Loons game, minor league games, it doesn't matter. I just think the fact that going to the ballpark, getting the hot dog, whatever it is, and enjoying her first game, I'm excited for that, because it's just that's an exciting moment. I actually was at my goddaughter's first Tigers game, and that was exciting. But as a dad, I'm pretty excited for that.
Well, I think one of the underrated things people don't necessarily think about with kids is it's like the sporting event where you can actually get a prize while you're sitting there, or there's always that possibility. You see the balls going in the stands, you see people catching them and are able to go home with them. And I know as a kid, that was like the number one thing. I was never as focused in any other sport as I was as a kid growing up watching baseball and being at the games. Because one, my dad put the fear of God in me that this ball could come and knock me upside my head, and I'd be out cold. But also, hey, you have the chance to like go home with something. It's not it's not the mascot shooting stuff up at you in the stands or a T-shirt. It's like an actual ball that they're playing with. So
yeah, especially at minor league games, because there's less people there. But I'll never forget at Old Tiger Stadium, I went to a game with my grandpa, but before he passed, and we always used to bring our mitts. And then my grandpa took me to the restroom, and while I was in the restroom, the ball hit my seat. So
oh man,
yep, I never lived that one down. But
and quietly, minor league stadiums have some pretty great food.
Oh, they do. And they have great events and stuff going on in between. So, like I said, the minor league baseball will always have a special place in my heart. So, I'm sure we'll probably go to, like I said, either a Whitecaps or a Loons game. So, we're excited for that. So, Brandon, that wraps up our first top 5. Our second top 5 is a little bit different. It's the top 5 milestones we're excited for. And again, we're talking milestones in the semi-near future, not like them getting married or anything like that. or them buying you a house because they became in the NBA, Bryce. But top 5 milestones we're excited for. I'll kick this one off, Brandon, if you don't mind. One thing that I'm excited for milestone-wise, it's probably an obvious one, but I can't wait for her first word. First word is just exciting because once they say the first word, conversation and life's about to change in a pretty big way pretty soon. And then that's something you'll never forget. I'm hoping it's Dada. I don't know. I keep saying it to her over and over.
Are you kidding me? You know what her first word is going to be.
What's that?
Spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets, exactly.
Spreadsheets.
That'd be great. If she said spreadsheets as her first word, I think that we need to be on TV or something because that's
we can find a way to make that happen. We only will say spreadsheets to her for the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
I think I knew why you wanted to go first because that's on my list too.
It's got to be, right?
No, without question. But for me right now, it's Bryce is a very smiley, happy-go-lucky kid. But I feel like he's always smiling and breathing hard from smiling. But I feel like he hasn't actually laughed like a belly laugh yet. I don't know if he can. That's my number one right now. It's I know how to get him to smile and make baby sounds and get really excited and move around. But I can't wait for that first just YouTube worthy. I'm saying it like that because I can watch videos right now of kids laughing nonstop, and it's the cutest thing ever. And we haven't got to that point, but I feel like it's right around the corner. So his first real belly laugh is number one for me right now since you took the word from me.
Hey, that's a good one because that almost made my list, and I didn't put that on there. Well, I almost did, but my number 2, I guarantee is not on your list. So that's for you.
We'll see.
Mine. Oh, well, if it is, we might have a different conversation. I can't wait for my first daddy-daughter dance. So that is something that I am super excited about. One of the great things about being a girl dad is you get those daddy-daughter dances. So I'm excited for that. I know probably be, first grade or kindergarten or something of that nature, but that will be a special moment that I'll probably maybe get a little misty-eyed on. But daddy-daughter dance is definitely on there.
You're getting misty-eyed now.
I don't want to think about her being that old. I said 5 or 6, and I don't want to think about her being that old. So, So that's my number 2, Brandon. I don't think that's on your list.
That is not on my list, at least not yet. For me, number 2 so far would be, you ever see the videos when they give kids a lemon for the first time and you watch their reaction?
Yes.
That is it. That's it for me.
That's a milestone?
I just can't wait for it's immediate future. It's a milestone for me.
That's a great milestone.
Dude, you had your first lemon. I just can't wait to see his face. Notice mine are little fun, I don't know, cutesy things. I want him to laugh. I want him to have a lemon. The kid's gonna be great. We already know that, but I can't wait to see his reaction when we give him a lemon for the first time.
That's pretty awesome. My next one is kind of touches on something we already talked about a little bit in the last top 5. But I can't wait to read my first novel to her. Not books. We're reading books all the time. But an actual novel or series of novels that we're both excited about reading every single night that I can read to her before bed. That's exciting. Maybe it's Harry Potter. Maybe it's something different. But I think that is something that can be really special. I know some of my sisters have done that with their kids. I know, like I said, my dad did that with us. So it's just a way to bond, and it's a way to get, pass something down. We love to read right now. We're in a book club still. And so it's something to pass that kind of excitement down to your kid, and maybe you carry it on as they get older. But so reading the first novel to her when she's actually at an age where she likes that kind of stuff, and I like that kind of stuff. So.
Well, I feel like maybe we should have consulted on these lists because you've taken 2 of mine so far.
Oh.
So I'm having to work around with my little extras on the bottom. But I'm gonna go right back to that, and I'm gonna give you a specific novel.
Okay.
For me, what got me into loving to read, the first groups of books I remember were the Hardy Boy series, and for him. That I know for a fact him and I are going to read Hardy Boy books together when he's probably 6, 7, 8 years old. Mysteries and solving them is the type of genre that I loved growing up, and I cannot wait to read a Hardy Boy book with him.
That will be, yeah, those are pretty cool. My dad had all of them and gave them to me and my brother, but we didn't read those ones together, but we did have those. My next one, and this is a hard one because I'm excited for it, but I'm also terrified of it, and that is her first day of school. I just, I think that will be exciting because they get to go to school, they get to learn, they're going to meet friends, they're going to, really start to come into their own, which is just awesome. But then, you're also losing a part of them at that point in time. You're sharing them with the world more. So, but that's on my list because I do think that that'll be a day that, obviously you'll never forget. So I'm excited for that first day of school.
I'm getting emotional thinking about that now.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's like, that's a tough one. Is it? I'm interested to see how. I feel like Bryce's first day of school is going to be a lot of. How the kid normally won't leave the parent and won't like walk into the to class. His mom is not gonna. She's gonna walk him to the front door, and the teacher. I can picture the teacher there like waiting to grab him. He starts walking away, and she snatches him back up and takes him home. There's no way that she's letting that kid.
Well, she was gonna let him in the building because Bryce is gonna be walking Peyton and making sure he's looking out for Peyton. So
he'll look out.
That'll be it.
The next one for me is something that is probably gonna hopefully happen within the next 8 months. But it's his first step. Right now we're working on rolling over. He's doing these half turns where he's probably gonna be rolling over by the next time we talk on the podcast. But they say be cautious waiting for that first step because once they start walking, like it's over. It's a wrap. Like your sanity is out the window for the next couple of years. I can't wait for it. I feel like when I get to him walking around in that toddler phase, that's when him and I are gonna have the most fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. My last one is one that actually is probably higher on my list. I'm just gonna list it last, but I can't wait for her first sporting event. Not like going to it, but actually participating in it. Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, whatever it is, I can't wait till she's on a team. And I get to be.
You stealing mine, Jim.
I waited to the end because I honestly thought you might take that one, and I was like, I'll let Brandon have it. But no, that's just. I mean, that's gonna be so exciting. I'm gonna be that obnoxious dad rooting for his, 4-year-old soccer team to win the championships, yelling at the other team for cheating.
We breed winners around here.
Exactly. We breed excellence.
Winners. He's trying to broaden it out. I put first goal. My first real organized sport was soccer. I think that's the easiest one for kids.
By far, I've coached it.
So yeah, that's why. And if you've coached soccer, then I'm quite sure it's the easiest
one. Well, I've coached. In fairness, I've coached them all, but soccer is the easiest one to teach because it's kick the ball towards that net.
Yeah, it's something that growing up, we come from technically in the city where we live, a basketball family is what my family is known for, but that wasn't my sport. I can stay on the court in the pickup game, but that wasn't my best sport. Soccer was growing up, and so was her uncle. And I remember those AYSO games every Saturday, going to practice. I remember travel soccer, things like that, and I'm going to put a little pressure on him and say his first goal is what I can't wait for.
Bryce, you better score. You better score, Bryce. You better not be a defender.
I mean, I don't care if we
got
to
goalies
have him
in the house.
He might be the 7-year-old playing under 5 soccer. He gonna get a goal.
Well, he was born in that weird month. I know because I was where you can sometimes be the oldest or the youngest kid. So I remember in baseball, I was always either like the best or the worst, depending on what year it was. Sometimes.
So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's a good one. So Brandon, we have a little bonus top 5. We'll go through these quickly. I'll let you run through your top 5, then I'll run through my top 5. But we'll get the people at home a bonus top 5 today because this might be the most beneficial for them.
Oh, yeah. Let's get the people what they want.
Yeah, and the bonus top 5 is top 5 things that you should include or bring with you in your diaper bag when you travel. And that's not the obvious ones. These are top 5 things you might not think of. So obviously diapers, obviously wipes. We all know all this kind of stuff. But what are some things you might not think of that will save you in a pinch? So Brandon, you go first. What is your top 5?
So top 5 in no particular order for me, a white noise machine. They sell them as portable machines. Crucial if your kid is used to sleeping with that. A thermometer and So count that as one, and baby aspirin. You don't want to run into a situation where they get a fever and you don't have anything to take care of there. Four for me is bibs. It's something that we didn't really use in the beginning, and we might qualify this as like obvious. We use a bunch of burp cloths and always had those, but as they get older and start teething and start just slobbing more, you don't always want to have a burp cloth sitting next to you. We didn't really use bibs a ton in the first few months, but he has a bib on a good amount now, and it's a lot easier for just like the little stuff. And then the last thing is a portable baby monitor or a travel baby monitor, which depending on what baby monitor you have, you and I both have the Nanit. You can just pull the camera off and take they have like a multi-stand that you can take with it. Or, I don't know about you, but I keep getting these emails where you can get like an additional camera and they have it marked down significantly because you already have it. So either that or grabbing just a quick baby monitor to go. We have one that we bought my parents that we can always grab, and it's not dependent on Wi-Fi or anything like that as well.
So this is kind of awesome, Brandon. One, those are all great things, and I agree with all of those. But we did not talk beforehand, as we've mentioned. I have none of those on my list. So everyone today is getting 10 items that you can add to your diaper bag if you already don't have them in there. So I'm going to go through mine. The number one is one that my wife bought me beforehand, and I thought it was kind of silly, and I've used it multiple times already and tell you it's the smartest thing I ever did, or she ever did because she told me to do it. She bought us each a waterproof, like, reusable zip bag. They're cute little bags, and what it's for is if the baby poops or gets spit up or anything on their clothes and you need to change them, you throw them in this bag, you zip it closed, you throw it in the diaper bag, and now it doesn't get on any of the other stuff in the bag. So it's great. I've used it, like I said, 3 times already. The baby's gotten stuff on their clothes, throw them in there, zip it, put it back out, and they're like,
that's amazing. I like that.
We each have one, and I'm like, when are we going to use these? I've used it every time we've gone out. So,
well, let me tell you a quick secret. My diaper bag came with a little attachment that has that in there.
Oh,
I know yours didn't.
Mine didn't.
That's another reason mine's better than yours.
That is good. Although I don't know if you need to wash yours if it comes out. Does it come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's good.
It's detachable.
So that's number one on my list if you don't have Brandon's super bag. Number 2 on my list is if you have, like mine does, a insulated area where you can keep breast milk or bottles, bring a ice pack. Make sure you bring an ice pack so if you're going on long trips or you're traveling for a while, it's in there. If you don't have an insulated pocket and you have one of those, bring one of those bags that are basically a bottle bag that is insulated and throw ice packs in there. Bring ice packs because you don't know if you're going to be by a fridge or if you're going to be walking outside. It keeps the breast milk cold. You don't have to worry about if it's been out too long or any of that kind of stuff. So they sell them for diaper bags specifically. Ice packs. That's my number 2.
I'm sorry. I'm going to keep interrupting you because I keep thinking about things as you talk. But so we use an ice pack and a specific like bottle bag every morning when I'm taking Bryce to my parents' house. Don't be like me. So I put that in the backpack that we have for him. There has been an occasion where I didn't think about it, and I kind of just threw the bag in the backseat of my car or truck and ran to my parents' house. And then I get like a call later that day because everything was sideways for like 5 minutes when I was running up the road. Make sure you keep the bags upright when you do that. Mm-hmm. It can spill out. It's one of those things that maybe I'm just an idiot and didn't think about the one time, but if my suffering can help any of you guys out, make sure you remember to keep those bags upright.
Good point, Brandon. Number 3 on my list is one of 2 things. Either a pacifier sanitizer, they have those portable ones, or just a little holder with extra pacifiers in them. I don't know anyone who has a baby with a pacifier, but they will drop it on the ground or anywhere 7 billion times a day. And then, especially when other people hold them, they'll just like, I swear, anytime I pass Peyton off to anyone, she's got a pacifier in her mouth, within 0.1 seconds, it's on the ground. So bring either extras, or if you have the sanitizer that's portable, we have one of those. It's nice because either that or you're going to be washing the pacifier 20,000 times while you are traveling. So that's number 3. Number 4, this might seem obvious, but I'm going to mention it. Extra clothes. Pack a bunch of extra clothes.
Amen.
Baby clothes are small, but if you only bring one thing and then they get it dirty or something happens, you're going to be mad. And if you only bring one extra pair of clothes, you might even be mad. So the more extra clothes you can bring, they don't have to be cute. They can be just zip-up pajamas, but bring the extra clothes. And then last but not least on my list, something, if they're newborns like Peyton is, bring a swaddle with you. If you end up staying later or end up trying to put them down, I don't know how your baby is, but I know Peyton, she might go to sleep in someone's arms, not swaddled, but if I put her down and she's not swaddled, she's probably not falling asleep. So it might save you if you bring a swaddle along with you, or if she's just being extra fussy, it might not be a bad idea to try to swaddle them. So that's my top 5 for things to bring with you. I know, Brandon, your top 5 was great as well. So those are little pointers to add to your diaper bag. You might already have 6 of them in there, 7 of them in there, but now maybe you have 10.
Perfect.
So that wraps.
You ready for these jokes?
Yeah, I'm ready, Brandon. That wraps up our top 10 portion for our 20th episode. So what is your 20th episode dad joke?
Well, I've been coming in, and I think that overall I have evened out the your once
15-4.
insurmountably. Yeah, whatever. This isn't Georgia, Michigan right now.
Oh no!
Let's
Too
get
soon.
out
Did
of
you
here.
notice my little name in the corner?
Oh, I saw it. I just didn't want to say anything. And it's a lie. It's a lie to yourself.
For you, those of you at home, it says Georgia cheated. That's what my name
Yeah.
says right now on the podcast.
They cheated by recruiting better players, having better coaches, and players playing better.
That's true.
If that's cheating. So, Jerry, what do you call a group of baby soldiers?
Tiny something. I don't know.
An infantry.
Ah.
Left, right, left.
Are you picturing babies marching right now? Because I am.
Yes, I am. Left, right,
I don't know if that's cute or terrifying.
I don't know. I wish you guys could see me because I'm moving a little bit. Yeah. Count that as a dub if you're keeping score at home.
Well, mine was a beer dad joke, so mine was very specific to the audience I was going after. Okay. I like it, Brandon. So this is our 20th episode. We have 9 more episodes before we get to do this all over again, Brandon, which is exciting. I do know at one point in time, the plan is for me and you to have a video segment of a top 5 or top 10, which at one point in time is going to be either top 10 things that surprised us about being dads and top 10 things that surprised us about hosting a podcast. So that'll be kind of fun when we do that. I'm excited for that. But until our next episode, if you have not already liked us on Instagram or Facebook or told your friends about us or written a review, please do so. We love to hear from all of you. And Brandon, again, we're coming close on another milestone of download, so please keep listening. We are excited. Every episode seems to be growing and growing and growing. I can't wait to see how many downloads this episode gets. So until next time, I'm Jerry here with Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.